This time on episode 268 of Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D., we talk The Punisher, Season 1, Episode 12, Home, weekly Marvel news, and your feedback.
I'm Stephen John Drew from the official GonnaGeek.com show, a weekly geek news podcast that is a part of the Gonna Geek Network, just like the show you're checking out now. Shows on the network are individually owned, and opinions expressed may not reflect others. Find other awesome geeky shows at GonnaGeekNetwork.com.
You have been granted clearance by Director Alfonso Mack Mackenzie. Stand by for a S.H.I.E.L.D. debriefing. All information to be discussed here is classified and may only be discussed among agents granted clearance by the S.H.I.E.L.D. Director.
And now it's time for your scheduled debriefing. I'm Agent Haley.
I'm Agent Lauren.
And I'm Consultant Michelle.
Welcome to Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D., a Marvel Comic Universe fan show. This show is recorded on Sunday, February 3rd, 2019, live from the Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. studios and broadcast worldwide via www.geeks.live. Come join our live chat as we record. And happy Superb Owl Day.
Go Hufflepuff.
I watched the Puppy and Kitten Bowl, and the real winner was all of us who watched.
I did a Celebrity Big Brother marathon.
I will also be watching the actual game.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I usually watch for the commercials and just to have something on in the background. And just in case something goes disastrously wrong, like it did with the big game in New Orleans a few years ago when the power went out for 45 minutes? Something like that.
I was actually unaware of it until you said that, so I'm the wrong person to ask.
It was fantastic. A friend of a friend was actually working there that night.
Mm-hmm.
We got some fun text conversations. It was great.
All right. Well, Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a fan-based podcast on the ABC television show Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., now in the 37th hiatus week following the season 5 finale. 37 weeks in a row? The multiple Marvel Netflix series that are left, and the Marvel cinematic and comic book universes in general.
Because I've taken a page from the Game of Thrones playbook.
If you'd like to talk to us about your Game of Thrones playbook, you can visit our website, legendsofshield.com.
If you'd like to tell us about the playbooks that you're taking things from, you can contact us at our voicemail, 844-THE-BUS-1. That's 844-843-2871.
You can visit us on Facebook at Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. Podcast.
You can find us on Twitter at Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D.
You can see us talking about all this stuff at youtube.com/GonnaGeek.
If you have an Amazon device, you can tell it to enable Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. skill.
And you can join our Discord server chat at GonnaGeek.com/Discord.
And remember, Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a proud member of the GonnaGeek.com network.
So this week we are discussing the episode Home. All 13 episodes of Season 1 of The Punisher aired on Netflix on November 17th, 2017, and Season 2 aired on January 17th, 2019, which is just a few weeks ago. So we're totally catching up, guys.
We're there. I can see the finish line.
Yeah, we're in the home stretch.
We've just got all those other series that come in between it. Yeah. So who directed this episode?
This episode was directed by Jet Wilkinson, and she has 22 directing credits starting in 2008, starting with All Saints and Neighbours, the long-running Australian soap operas, and Home and Away, another long-running Australian soap opera. There's also one episode of Iron Fist, the Mistress of All Agonies, one episode of Jessica Jones, aka FaceTime, 5 episodes of How to Get Away with Murder, 1 episode of Daredevil, Reunion, and 2 episodes of The Punisher, Home, and One Bad Day.
And who wrote the episode?
This episode was written by Dario Scardapane, has 10 writing credits starting in 1993, including 4 episodes of Trauma, who also the creator of that show, 1 Dominion, 6 of The Bridge, 1 State of Affairs, and 4 of The Punisher. And The Punisher is based on the Marvel Comics by Jerry Conway, John Romita Sr., and Ross Andrew.
So, what is the meaning of the title this week, Home?
Well, Frank has all of those flashes back with his wife, Maria. And there's that last moment where she's like, you're back, but it's like you're part there, you're part here. Where's home? And he says it's with her. And then later on, he's all bloody and she's, come with me. And he's like, no, I'm here. I'm home, being all violent and such. There's that one.
Mm-hmm.
Lauren, I know there's another meaning to it.
Like death?
Well, no, the title of the episode.
Well, that's really the one that I'm thinking of.
Well, Micro also finally gets to go home. He's reunited with his family.
Yeah, good for Micro.
Yeah, I mean, still kind of a dick, gets murdered in front of his family again.
And then like, surprise kids, fake out number 2. Who wants to go get pizza?
That poor child, so traumatized.
Oh my God. Don't hit people. Just do not hit people, especially not people you are in a family unit with. But I kind of feel like it might have been deserved here. He's faked his death twice. The second time actually in front of his family, including 2 small children.
Well, no, just the one small child was there.
Well, just one small child. But it's a huge dick move.
Yep. I mean, I guess there's no way to tell her ahead of time, but yeah, it's screwed up. I mean, Madani could have, gotten them in the car or something a little quicker.
Yeah, but I can see why they did it that way. Billy had to be convinced that it was real, which is why he told his guys to light the gasoline on fire.
Which also, that doesn't really work that well. It's not going to follow the stream up into the can, because it's not continuous, and also that's not how gravity works.
I know, right?
Just saying.
Yeah.
At least they didn't try and ignite it with a cigarette.
Oh, I hate that.
Also, everybody should go watch the episode of Mythbusters where they try and ignite pools of gasoline with a cigarette. So did Russo kill his own guys, the 2 guys that were carrying Micro?
I know Homeland got a couple.
But I mean, specifically those 2 guys, because it looked like it was headshots on both of them. And I don't think the Homeland guys are that good at shots.
I don't think he did.
Okay.
Yeah, that wasn't the impression that I got.
I wasn't sure. It was a lot going on in that scene, so I wasn't sure.
I mean, it was supposed to be confusing, so it would make sense that it would even be confusing to us about who shot who.
Yeah, the main thing that I kept thinking about this episode, Frank's brain has to be so messed up by now, because we've already known from Daredevil, he's got a really bad traumatic brain injury.
Yep. Well, I mean, between the psychological trauma he's experienced and the actual physical trauma he's experienced.
And they just keep knocking him out and hitting him in the head, especially in this episode.
Yeah.
You're really not supposed to. Okay, I've had many concussions. It's no secret I gave myself a really bad concussion hitting myself in the temple with a laundry room door.
These things happen.
But normally that's not bad. But they told me, have you had a lot of concussions before? And I said, yeah. And they said, well, you're at the age where you don't bounce back anymore. Try to avoid this in the future. It's going to be worse from now on. So he's had a lot of head injuries. He is not going to be bouncing back so good. I know it's a comic book show, but all I can think of when I watch this is, ouch. He would not be functioning that well. Why isn't he throwing up right now?
Yeah. The only TV show I think I've shown accurately depict the way you react to head trauma was Longmire.
Which I still need to see.
Oh, you do. There's an episode where a couple of people get captured by this cult and they put motorcycle helmets on them and hit them in the head with baseball bats. And they do actually have violent responses to that. They're throwing up and stuff, and then they're both off work for weeks afterward because they've had major head trauma.
Yeah, this is a thing. Your brain is a very delicate organ,
I feel like they used to have PSAs about this with eggs in a jar when they were talking about shaken baby syndrome. It's very much like that.
Yeah.
But don't you realize you can just get pumped with adrenaline and all of a sudden be able to leap out of the chair? And
Okay, there is a little bit of truth to that. I was actually, I was just browsing the other day, like weird facts. And there was this woman whose parachute didn't open when she jumped out of a plane. And the only reason she survived was because she landed on a fire ant hill. And the ant stinging her, the adrenaline from that kept her alive. So there's a little bit of truth to that.
Yeah, that part didn't bother me as much. Like, yeah, he springs up from a shot of adrenaline, but then he's dying on the floor after that. I think this is going to be a series I don't rewatch after watching him gouge out dudes' eyes.
That was brutal. I could not watch that.
I turned away for a while.
Oh, God.
I mean, dude definitely had it coming, but I don't need to see that.
Again, I think a lot of what we're supposed to take away from Punisher is where do we draw the line between the, superheroes and sort of vigilantes that we root for and the ones that we don't root for. And when it comes to someone like the Punisher, who tends to mete out a lot more brutal justice, when do we keep rooting for him? Like, where do we draw our lines?
But he also tends to have much more brutal foes. Like, his adversaries have done way worse things than what we see in, a Fantastic Four story.
That's true. His Orange wails on him.
It was really hard to watch.
I don't think that character rings true. Like, you don't get to the position he's in if you are just prone to, like, violent outbursts and stuff like that. I feel like he should have been more calculated and been the one that's like, I'm going to kill him now so it's dealt with and move on.
Okay. Again, with Lauren knows a lot about horrible things. I think that you see this a lot with certain types of serial killers where they're able to keep it under control. And then it's referred to as I forget what it's called now, because of course I did. But when they start to just kind of go berserker, and it's sort of like when everything becomes too much and they start to kill closer together, they start to make more mistakes than usual. And that's usually, it's when they make a big enough mess and a big enough thing that they can no longer be ignored. And I think that's what we're seeing with him, because there's a lot of sociopaths in high up positions.
Yes.
And it's sort of a positively chosen for trait in things like business and government, because you have to be sort of dispassionate and you have to have kind of a predator view. A lot of people have written about it. It's fascinating and horrifying. And with him, he was sort of able to, I think, channel it. And then this was just the thorn that got under him and the thorn that got under him. And he went berserker.
And there is that whole eye for an eye. He did say, I'm going to take an eye from you. He has all that rage from Frank beating him up and taking his eye, ruining his eye. I think that probably just like set him off. Finally having Frank there, something he's always wanted for so long. He just was able to just beat up on him, Frank's sitting there and tied up.
Yeah, he said, you're the ones that go out in the field. You're the tools. I'm the one that sends you there. He finally is like in the muck and enjoying it. It doesn't ring as false to me as it could. And it's horrifying.
So where do we think Billy goes from here?
I'm pretty sure I know where he goes, given who the character is.
Okay.
But once Frank's up and about, Frank's not letting him go.
Do you think that gets dealt with this season, or do you think that's next season?
A little bit of both, I think, given some previews that I've seen.
Okay, I haven't seen any previews.
Okay. But yeah, given that we only have one episode left.
You still got a lot of stuff to do. You've got to bring Micro back from the dead. You got to bring Frank back from the dead.
Got to give Madani something to do.
Where's Frank going from here if he's not going to the hospital?
Or to jail.
Because it seems like Madani has decided that she's going to let him go.
Micro did want to be a vet, so maybe he's got that going on.
I really wish they'd made Madani more competent.
Yeah.
It kills me every time she's on screen.
I know, because I like the actress a lot, and just the character has not been well executed.
I'm hoping, if she survives till next season, I'm hoping that they do a little bit of rehabilitation with her and we get to see her actually be good at something.
If she's in next season at all, I think she would be like the conduit between the government and Frank, like giving him missions or something. Because that's the only way I could see her character showing up next season.
That's true. That's a good point.
I really love the actress that plays her mother. I wish she was in the show more.
Yeah. Sure, exactly. I saw a picture so I follow a bunch of the Expanse cast on Twitter, and Frankie Adams, who plays Bobby Draper, posted a picture of Shore, who plays Madani's mom on here and plays Avasarla on the Expanse. She showed up to work one day in a pink unicorn onesie, and it was adorable.
Of course she did.
Because she could do whatever the hell she wants.
She's awesome.
I know this is not probable because they tend to stick with British actors, but I would love her to be the Doctor on Doctor Who.
That would be cool.
Yeah, it would.
Question.
Yes.
How many of you think that when Billy Russo told his guys, when it comes to that female hacker computer person he got, to pay her, how many of you actually thought, oh, it's actually money or a bullet to the head?
Oh, they're going to kill her.
Oh, see, I was thinking she's a valuable asset that could be used again.
I was thinking she knows too much.
Maybe.
Yeah, he has not seemed to be too precious about any of his people so far. So let's face it, real life is not like the movies where there's one person who knows everything. There's a lot of people who know how to do this stuff and more people willing to learn.
I love Madani's reaction of like, you have my password?
Like, dude.
She's like, dude, who do you think he is?
So going back to the beginning of this episode when Frank was spilling the beans, it came out that he was the one that shot the guy, which we as the audience knew, but Madani didn't know at this point. Did we know that she didn't know that?
I feel like we know that she didn't know that.
Okay.
I don't think she wanted to admit it to herself that the guy that she needs to testify is probably the guy that actually killed her partner. I think she was in that state of denial.
Not the guy that killed her partner. It was the guy in Kandahar.
Who was her partner
in Kandahar.
in Kandahar. Yeah. I think she was in that state of denial. And when he said the words, she just couldn't be like, oh, yeah, he was in the room.
I think she really wanted it to be Billy because she already hates him. So it's just a good way to channel that rage.
Which, I can't blame her.
Yep.
Billy's horrible.
Just the worst.
White guy in a suit.
Rich white guy with a nice haircut. Obviously,
he continues to be awful in this episode. Second only to Agent Orange.
Yeah, here, Frank, I'll let you go. Kill Orange because he just called me a bunch of names and now I want him dead and I don't want to do it. So I'll let you do it. And then I'll try to kill you.
Billy's just the worst.
So him saying like, oh no, I had nothing to do with what happened to your family, but also he didn't say anything. What a cop-out.
Yeah, it's the whole thing with him. I was thinking about it earlier. It's very much a little bit nature and a little bit nurture that made him what he is. Because, yeah, his mom was terrible. Lots of people have terrible parents. Not all of them. Most of them, actually, don't turn out horrible like him. But he also, I guess, has just enough. I don't want to label everybody in this a sociopath, but it's like the writers were like, okay, let's go down the hair checklist of sociopathy and see what we can do to make everybody in here a sociopath. And it's like, come on. But with him, it's like the shallow affect and just him saying, yeah, I want all this stuff because it conveys that I have power. And it seriously, go look up Robert Hare's psychopathy checklist and compare Billy, compare Rollins. It's like the writers went down the list. And in one way, it's a big disservice because for all that everyone's like, oh, the instance of psychopathy and sociopathy are bigger than you would think. It's like, yeah, but at the same time, not everybody who has that is terrible. A lot of them kind of like keep it in check. And a lot of people who are terrible are just bad people. Not everything has to be kind of diagnosable. A lot of people have mental illness and personality disorders and are good people. But writers use that as a shorthand.
Well, to be fair, you don't make a television show about the people with mental illness that are just good people.
I wish they did. And that's one of the things that I like about like Crazy Ex-Girlfriend and Lady Dynamite. Mm-hmm. But that aside, yeah, Billy Russo is terrible.
But he didn't kill Madani because she got under his skin a little bit. She shot out the tires on the trucks.
Yeah.
Anything else this episode?
I don't think I'm going to be watching this particular episode again. It was just...
I think this series in general, I'm just not going to rewatch. Like,
there's so much good stuff here. Like, there's fantastic acting. There's really good moments, but...
Yeah, but there's so much just brutal violence that, like, I don't necessarily want to see again. And it's not like I can be like, oh, this is a good episode that doesn't have brutal violence. Like, if I'm going to rewatch it, I'm going to rewatch the whole series. And this is not a whole series that I want to rewatch.
Yeah, this one... If I do like a rewatch with some friends or something, I'm going to have to turn away a lot this episode. I don't know. I don't like torture porn. Which is weird considering that when I read like fanfic and fiction and stuff like that, I'm like, oh, give me all the angst and everything. But
that's why I like everyone talks about how great Daredevil was, like season 2 of Daredevil. And it's like, it was so violent that it's not the thing that entertains me.
Yeah, give me well choreographed fight scenes.
Yeah.
And not just somebody tied to a chair getting their face caved in.
Yeah. I just watched an episode of Community with a fight scene. That was very enjoyable. The Christmas fight scene. It was great.
It's December 10th.
That was the exact episode.
I see gifs of that on Tumblr every December 10th, and it's beautiful.
Yep.
Michelle, anything else? I feel like I've monopolized the conversation.
No, even I thought the beating that Frank took was a bit excessive. It's just like, I know it's supposed to be brutal. The show's called The Punisher. But there should be a line, and it was just,
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess with that, we'll head towards the news. Big news, top story. Black Panther won Best Ensemble at the SAG Awards.
All right, we are linking to the video. It was, the whole cast went up there. It was a fantastic speech. Chadwick Boseman did most of the talking. And I included part of his speech to be what I tell you, what he said. To be young, gifted, and Black, we all know what it's like to be told that there's no place for you to be featured. We knew we had something special that we could give the world, that we could be full human beings in the role we were playing, that we could create a world that exemplified what we wanted to see. And that was one of the hugest things, other than Black Panther just being a fun superhero movie. It's a movie with an almost entirely Black cast, an Afro-futuristic set movie showing a technologically advanced nation in Africa. And it deals with African problems like colonialism and the effects of colonialism. And it was a huge success among all audiences. And that's a huge thing.
I feel like it was a movie that said, we can make a movie about, in this case, Black people. And, the target audience for that might be Black people, but it can be enjoyed by all audiences. And I think because it worked, it opened the door for a movie like Crazy Rich Asians and movies that are targeting other minority audiences, or not a minority audience like women. Like all of a sudden, we're not a minority anymore. We're allowed to be targeted by marketing and movies and things.
This is a big deal because the SAG Awards, that's actors awarding other actors. This isn't like there's no cinematographer or old white editor who hasn't watched anything in forever. These are working actors awarding other working actors and recognizing their talents. And that is huge that it was a SAG Award.
Definitely.
Exactly.
Well, and because we're in award season, we also need to talk about Into the Spider-Verse, which won all 7 Annie Awards it was nominated for, including Best Animated Feature.
So the Annies are animated features. It's the animated industry giving awards to its own. And Into the Spider-Verse swept. In addition to Best Animated Feature, it also got Best Direction, Best Writing, Best Character Animation in an Animated Feature, Best Character Design, Best Production Design, and Best Editorial. Again, if you haven't had the chance to see it, please go see it. I am not exaggerating when I say this is a huge, huge accomplishment in animation. And I'm really hoping that this also wins at the Oscars, just because, I mean, yes, it's a huge deal because the industry recognized it. But the Oscars is what the public tends to pay attention to.
Yeah.
And what the public tends to remember.
So I just saw something that's news to me. We have a season 6 trailer for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes, we do. Okay. This dropped a few days ago, and I've only just watched it. It's maybe 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes long. And we get space adventures. We get Director Mac, and there's a twist ending that I will not spoil. But guys, I'm so excited. It's coming back soon. I'm so excited.
And by soon, you mean like 4 months, right?
Look, last year seemed to take forever and go by in a flash simultaneously. So 4 months might not be that fast. I mean, might not be that slow.
My favorite thing I've seen this week was January was such a long year.
Yes.
All right. Well, I haven't watched it yet. Michelle, have you watched it yet?
Yes.
Yes. What do you think?
I thought it was great seeing Mac in charge, Quake doing her thing, the quest to find Fitz. Awesome.
But if they find Fitz, doesn't that break the future?
No.
Okay.
I think we all agreed that Deke is some sort of outside time remnant thingy.
Okay, but also, like, without Fitz, they weren't able to redirect the timeline to where it is now. So I have a problem with the temporal mechanics they're playing with. Anyways, I've discussed it before. I'm sure I'll discuss it again once we get to the actual season and we see what happens. But Chris Evans is rumored to be offered a Disney Plus Marvel episode to direct.
All right. So this is all just rumors, according to journalist Jim Hill. Again, just rumors. But we do know that Chris Evans wants to do more directing. And we do know that he has worked really closely with Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan, and Falcon and Winter Soldier series. This Falcon and Winter Soldier series has a writer on board. And we do know that Joe Russo has said that Evans isn't quite done with the MCU, despite wrapping on Avengers Endgame. So maybe?
What has he directed?
He directed a movie called Before We Go.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of a rom-com. Two strangers stuck in Manhattan for the night grow into each other's most trusted confidants when an evening of unexpected adventure forces them to confront their fears and take control of their lives. It has Chris Evans and Alice Eve.
Okay, so sidetracking this conversation a little bit, how many of us in this podcast are going to be making dick jokes about the D Plus streaming service.
Oh, so many.
When I saw that, it was like D plus what? Is it like the bottom bin superheroes?
They want the D.
Yeah, the D list, the second string West Coast Avengers or something like that.
Just not good branding there, Disney. Did not think that one through. All right. Now, back on track, back on the rails. Sorry, Starpie, about editing and all that business. First reaction screenings for Captain Marvel say Goose the cat is the real star.
All right. Apparently, this cat is amazing. So in the comics, Goose the cat is actually Chewy and also a flurkin. Flurkins look very much like cats, and they're adorable. And they're also interdimensional portals, and they can turn into monsters. We don't know if this is going to be the case in the movie, but we do know that in the action figure, Chewie comes with Nick Fury and is handcuffed and wearing a muzzle. And there's rumors that he might be why Nick Fury only has one eye.
Oh, because he scratched up the other one?
I don't know.
To be fair, that does look like a cat scratch injury. I have scars from cat scratches, and they do look a lot like that.
Yeah. So in the Ultimate Verse, which is where the Nick Fury who looks like Sam Jackson comes from, I believe he actually lost his eye from Wolverine. But this is the MCU version. We don't have Wolverine in the MCU yet. Why can't he have his eye be scratched out by an alien cat?
I'm down for it.
I am too.
Please just let this cat be a flurkin. That's what I want.
All right. Moving on in the MCU, Edgar Wright, Chris Miller, and Taika Waititi talk about who they think should direct Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
So this was a Twitter thread from January 28th. A Twitter account at Fake News Mags said, "Hi, Disney Studios, Marvel Studios. Please hire someone for Guardians of the Galaxy already. I vote Edgar Wright, Philip Lord / Chris Miller, or Taika Waititi, and I would be happy to explain these suggestions." Edgar Wright said, "I'd like to throw in this suggestion too, James Gunn." Chris Miller said, "He would be a good fit tonally." Taika Waititi said, "Agreed. James Gunn would bring a fresh energy and style that the first two films were lacking." Edgar Wright said, "He's no James Gunn, but he'll do."
And then somebody posted a picture of James Gunn and a silly mustache saying, "Marvel, hire first-time director Jimmy Gunbergo to direct Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Fantastic.
All right. And because it's the big game this week, new Avengers trailer is dropping during the superb Owl.
Okay, I literally just saw this while we were recording. I have not had the chance to watch it yet. It's 30 seconds long. I will be watching as soon as we're done recording. But I have a link to the Hollywood Reporter's tweet about it.
Yeah, next week, expect more commentary on this trailer.
Exactly.
Yeah, we'll see what other trailers we get during the game.
The big game.
The superb Owl.
All right, and that does it for the news. And now for feedback.
So we had some action on Twitter. It looks like we heard from Andy Minga.
So in response to the Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. trailer dropping, Andy Minga said, "Well done taking advantage of my online absence during dinner. That sneak peek though, wow." Agreed.
And what did Adadonna Girl have to say?
Black Panther is coming back to certain AMC theaters for free. I think this may have already happened, actually, in honor of Black History Month. Yes, Friday, February 1st, and rolling through February 7th at 250 AMC locations throughout the country. And in conjunction with the announcement, Disney also revealed it will donate a $1.5 million grant to the United Negro College Fund, which, thank you for putting your money where your mouth is, Disney. And Adadonna Girl said, "Pooh, closest AMC theaters where this is showing is about 35 miles away." But still, awesome for Disney for doing that. And happy Black History Month, everybody.
Exactly. And we had some action on our Discord server.
Yes. Again, in response to the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. trailer, Snedeker said, just saw that first look video and this is looking great to me. And again, agreed.
When is this supposed to come back? June or July? I'm hoping June.
All I remember is summer.
Is it summer in real life, or is it summer like in TV terms?
13 episodes, summer 2019. You're killing me.
Oh gosh, that's right. It's only 13. Oh, I forgot it's only 13 episodes.
You're killing me, Google. Oh, so random aside, I was watching Rent Live the other day, and the guy they had performing as Roger looked weirdly like Brett Dalton.
But it wasn't him.
It was not him.
Okay.
And that's all for the feedback.
We would like to thank everybody who's gotten a hold of us and sent us stuff that makes you think of us. And we just really love hearing from you. And send us what you think about The Punisher or about the trailers that you saw during the game.
Yeah. Thank you for taking the time to listen to us. Thank you, Starpie, for editing whatever mess we made in the last hour. We really appreciate everything you do for the podcast.
Yes, SP, you do more than just push buttons. Again, I'd like to thank everybody listening to our ramblings, interacting with us. We really appreciate it.
All right. And until next time, I'm Agent Haley.
I'm Agent Lauren.
And I'm Consultant Michelle.
Bye.
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 Thank you for listening. If you want to leave us feedback, go to gonnageek.com and you will find all our contact information and other shows. You can also visit legendsofshield.com where you'll find our complete archive of podcasts. The music heard on this podcast is by Kevin MacLeod, found at incompetech.com, and also artists on pond5.com and audiojungle.net. The opinions heard on this podcast are those of the individual hosts and do not represent Stargate Pioneer Productions, Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D., or Gonna Geek. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is the property of the Disney Corporation, Marvel Studios, and ABC. No infringement is intended.
None of that was recorded.
We're just sort of bopping each other lightly on the head right now.
Just like the field mice.
Except they're going to go for the jugular any second now. Yeah, there it goes.
Have you finished tumbling?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I am never finished, but yeah, I'm ready to go. Should we say that it's the Super Bowl or do we want to find another holiday?
I think the Super Bowl is easiest. Oh, except we can't say Super Bowl. We have to say the big game.
Happy Superb Owl.
There we go. Otherwise, they'll sue the network for all it's worth.
Yeah.
$4.27.
Who's been holding out?
This is Director SP here, and I just wanted to thank the ladies very much for recording on a day that I could not make it. I had a family commitment. Contrary to popular belief, I was not actually watching the Super Bowl. Yes, I can say the Super Bowl on a podcast as long as we don't talk about the specifics of the game. But I had a family thing and could not make the podcast, so I just want to say thank you very much to the ladies for recording. And I thoroughly enjoyed their description of the Season 1 Punisher penultimate episode. And stay tuned for my return next time as we talk about the Season 1 finale episode of The Punisher before we get into Runaways. Broadcast has been successfully terminated.
Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. is copyright 2013 through 2019.